everyone. Welcome to another new episode. Like I promised you guys, the math season is over, but I will be having weekly episodes on various shows. And this week, it's a combo. I will be talking about the Never Ever Mets and the new Netflix Pop the Balloon. And today, my guest is going to be Wendy. Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me back again to discuss these two interesting shows.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny how when you were here, I think for Temptation Island, you mentioned Pop the Balloon. I mentioned I'd never watched an episode of it, and you gave a little rundown. And not long after was when Netflix announced its version was coming out, and there was a whole everything about that. But we will get to that. A little housekeeping, guys, just to remind you that I am still dropping episodes on my Patreon. So if you want bonus episodes on that, you can head on over there. It's patreon.com/AltoCall MAFS. And I'm also covering the tell-alls from the 90-day fiance last resort. And whenever Sister Wives comes back, which is going to be in a few weeks, I believe, I will be covering that over there as well. So before we get into the shows, I do want to mention that I was looking for Pop the Balloon on OWN, and then I ran into somebody's son. That yes, that's the title of the show, guys. I'm not saying I ran into an actual guy. I ran into a show and I posted about it because I saw it and I laughed at the title. And I was like, you know what? Why not? And I went ahead and I watched the premiere episode of Somebody's Son. And the premise of the show is nothing we haven't seen before. They come into a house which looks like the same house that they use for family or fiance, and they come with their mom, and they bring four girls, and then they give you instructions. The guy goes in, the somebody's son, and he has a conversation with the girls while the mother watches. Then they switch roles, and then the mother goes in, interacts with the girls, and then the mother eliminates somebody. It doesn't matter what he likes, they have a conversation and all that. But the first person was a Nigerian guy from Houston. So this was great. He didn't come with his mom. And every time that happens where there's a Nigerian talent on the reality show and their parents don't show up, my first thought is they're like, you're not going to get me on a reality show and disgrace my ancestors on this. Because, Nigerian families don't always want to do this. So he came with his aunt. So he says his aunt raised him and all that. He's a free agent. He's a football player. He signed with the Titans. I don't know how much it's trying to look it up. It was just passing entertainment. And it was very interesting. And in my mind, like, I think the girls didn't know they were also meeting the mom because one of the people walked in with booty shorts, like pretty much booty shorts. And then when they said the mom's coming in, she's like, oh my God, this is a terrible first impression. Now, what was interesting was I told my husband when I was watching it, I was like, oh, I wonder if they'll bring a Nigerian girl. And they did. And she said she actually named where she was from in Nigeria. Like she doesn't live in America, but you could tell that she does. But she came in traditional garb, in like traditional complete wear, and was all like, and this is the thing with reality shows. Like, did she come knowing that he was Nigerian or not?
Right.
And it was so funny because she just thought, I have this in the bag. I'm Nigerian. You can't tell that he's Nigerian. He later announced it to them and she's like, I'm Nigerian, you're Nigerian. She's like, I got this in the bag. And
Yeah.
she was answering all the questions that they asked about intimacy and all that. And his mom was like, this is not how we speak in Nigeria. You're so forward about intimacy and sex. And she was the first to eliminate it.
Yep. You know what? I think I've actually seen a version of this show like on YouTube
Um,
where like parents pick dates
oh,
for their
yeah.
but like the one that I watched was actually with Nigerian people, which was
Oh,
interesting too.
is that the actual one that is a Nigerian show? There's a Nigerian
Yes.
show that's like
Yes.
that. This is on OWN. So
Wow.
if anyone's interested in watching somebody's son, that was the premise. And then they left us in a cliffhanger. So there's still three left. So I don't know how that's, gonna go. Then the girls are gonna move into the house. And I think in one of the previews, I see a guy, not necessarily the guy in the first episode, and he's telling the girl, I mean, there's no chemistry, just go. So
Wow.
this was in a bed too. So I'm just, I'm here for OWN doing whatever they can to corner whatever space they want to corner, but it's hilarious to me. And they're just niche shows, I guess, because a lot of people don't know about it and they don't do a good job of promoting their shows. But
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna watch it. Do you think like OWN leans more towards like doing black dating shows, kind of like the Ready to Loves and stuff like that?
yeah, I'm not gonna say they lean. They do.
Okay, so that's what.
All their shows are African Americans. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it's like a array of different. It's all so I think there's a cluster of them, and it's Friday and Saturdays. So it's all
Mm,
five of them. So now somebody's son, family or fiance,
yeah.
ready to love, the one that's coming back, put a ring on it,
Oh
and
yes.
then never ever met. So the
Oh,
other five, and it's all always African
like
American cast, all
yeah,
black
yeah,
cast.
yeah,
So yes, because I think that was Oprah's original thing. Because someone who produces the show is like Will Parker. I'm sorry, Will Packer, not
yeah,
Parker. I thought it was
yeah.
Parker. But yeah, and then even the Love and Marriage Huntsville, Love
Yep,
and Marriage Detroit, all
yep,
that is all. There was one. It was a gospel show in Detroit. I think that was also Carlos King, and
yeah.
it was one season, one and done. And it was the one guy. It took me a while to realize that it was the guy in the meme with another he who shall not be named, aka P. Diddy, the guy who keeps staring him in the face, like to
Oh yeah,
get
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
the star in the show. It took a while. Like that's what you're known for. But
yeah.
yeah. Just wanted to drop somebody's son in case, you're looking for somebody else, some other trash reality show to add to your lineup. But we will go ahead and talk about Pop the Balloon. Um, like I said, I'd never watched an episode. I did my due diligence and watched one episode of the YouTube version just so I could have something to compare to the Netflix version. And I saw all the chatter of the Netflix version before I came on here. Yeah, I was hoping it was a lie, but I think the internet speaks truth. It was not good. It's just a lot they could tweak and
It
make it
was
better.
as someone that I've so let me just say like there are different pop the balloons all over YouTube. I think Pop the Balloon has probably been in existence since forever, but Arlette, which is the one that Netflix is modeling or supposed to be modeling their version of Pop the Balloon on. So Arlette's Pop the Balloon is the one that like has garnered the most attention from the world. And um having watched Arlette's version literally since episode one, like I am a consistent watcher of
Mhm.
her YouTube Pop the Balloon. I This was hard. The Netflix version was very hard to watch. It was trash. I
Yeah.
It was trash. I didn't understand the premise of it. Like I just didn't think those people were there to find love. It was trash.
Yeah. So, okay, let me give a little background. If anyone is just new to this, like Wendy said, there have been different versions because I also watched an interview with Arlette and her husband, and someone asked how she came up with the idea, and she was like, "Oh no, it's not an original idea from us," which I thought it was, even though now that I think about it, it's pretty basic. That of course didn't come up with it. She said it's been everywhere, like even in China, and I think some people even argue because there was a lady actually from Nigeria who did hers. She's in Port Harcourt over
Yeah.
there, and she's hers is called the Haunted Game.
Hot
Nonce,
games,
yeah,
yeah.
Haunted
Nonce
Nonce
Mirage.
Mirage. So if you
Yeah.
check the dates, hers they premiered the same year, but it's just a few months apart from
Yeah.
when they did it. So just to give context that everyone has different versions, but Arlette's is the one that took off. And her husband came up with the idea, and she was like, "Okay, so who's gonna host it?" And he's like, "You're gonna host it." And she's like,
Yeah.
"I've never done anything like this." And then she did it, and that's it. They're based in Phoenix,
Yeah.
Arizona, and so they have that on the YouTube. So the premise of it is they have a lineup. It's interchangeable, whether guys, whether girls. They're gonna have a lineup, and they all have a balloon. Then they have the main lead talent, which is going to be um, the person who's the lead that comes in and is allegedly looking for love. And they ask questions, they introduce themselves. From the moment the person steps forward, you can pop your balloon if you're not interested just because you don't like the way they look or there's something going on. And then you get to ask questions. And then as things go along, if they have an answer, like a lot of what I saw in the YouTube version, they were like, "Oh, what are your deal breakers?" And someone will say, "Oh, someone that has more than one child, someone who has a child," or something like that. And you can
Yeah.
pop your balloon, or I'm religious, and things like that along the line. Then if there's two people left, they have a balloon, then they get to pick or all that stuff. And at the end, they hope to get a connection and then make it work. What I
Mhm.
don't know, Wendy, as a frequent watcher, would you say, is this always, in my knowledge, this is for the culture, this is a black show? It's always like a black cast, or have they had non
So
black talent?
so when it actually started, it was African people, like Africans in the diaspora. So like,
Oh,
yeah, her first few episodes was like it was all okay. Let me say it was like 80% Africans and then like 20% like African Americans. That's how it
oh,
started.
okay.
Because
For context,
BM, okay,
for,
go ahead.
for context, guys, Arlette, who's the person, she's Congolese American.
Yeah,
So maybe that's the direction she's
yeah,
going. And she probably didn't think it was gonna blow up like this. It was just,
yeah,
oh, here's my YouTube channel. Here's what I do. Because she
yeah,
has other content on
yes,
her.
yeah.
Okay,
And BM, her husband is actually Congolese. He's British Congolese,
okay,
I guess, because like he has a British accent. So I'm guessing
hmm
he grew up over there. And even prior to that, he's also a well-known like artist in Congo. Like he has
hmm
some songs with Awilo
hmm
and stuff like that. So I think they started it off as like, okay, let's try and match like some Africans in diaspora. And then I think when they saw that it started like just gaining more traction, then it became more about a black dating show and help
okay,
black people, yeah, the everyday regular black people find love.
okay. So this is one of the things why I was just very interested into how Netflix was going to translate this. So that is the context and that is the background of the show. And to me, that is a, for the culture show. So when Netflix announced that they were going to do this, I think the two red flags were one, the host was going to be Yvonne Orji, and who was famously known for Molly on Insecure, and two, it was going to be live. I don't understand why they felt it had to be live. I my Because it's just Netflix live, not a good thing
Yeah.
to put together.
Yeah, because
And
they had a failed live event with the
Love is
Love
Blind.
is Blind reunion. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why that had to be live. And then with Yvonne Orji, I'm just like thinking of her style. She's very exuberant. And then from what I see, I'm just like, how is this gonna, play out? I saw some people online say things like, why would they pick her? She's a virgin. And I'm like, what has that got to do with anything? Like, again, for those who don't
Really?
know, Yvonne is famously known that she's saving herself for her husband. She's 41 now. And it's just been a thing of, discussion. Everyone always, I mean, started with her because, with every interview around, she was talking about her sexuality and or not, or that, I guess. So I know I saw a video where someone said, "Oh, why would you get that for a relationship?" And I'm like, guys, she's not having sex doesn't mean she doesn't have relationships, and it doesn't mean she can't host a show. And she also played Molly on like it's just a weird take for me. That was not my issue. I just didn't see how it was going to translate on live TV for like a dating show. And I think when I watched it, that was part of the complaints that I had, or one of the things I think they could tweak. I think that Yvonne was talking as much as the contestant, and
It was too much. And honestly, it felt like a clown show. Like it felt like I was supposed to be watching comedy. Like I just didn't get what the point of this was. Because if people are here to find love, why is there so much chaos? It felt very chaotic, from her interrupting the people or cracking jokes to the people just honestly, even the way they always came out on stage. I'm like, what is happening? Like they would run into the stage and like just be so vibrant, moving around. I'm just like, why is this happening and why is it in this
this
context,
format.
in this
Yeah,
format?
and that's what like you rightly said. She made it seem like she was on a stand-up stage. She was trying to crack jokes, trying to keep things moving. And when I watched the version on YouTube, part of what makes it work is Arlette lets the people be. She's pretty much like in the background and facilitating it moving, but in a very calm demeanor. She's not like the main talent. So those are the first two red flags for me. And then the third, closest to the time when they said we're gonna have some reality stars on here. that just destroyed me. I'm like, okay, so now it's people who are actually not looking for love. Not to say that the YouTube people are actually looking for love. I think in the beginning, maybe, but now it seems like, maybe there are people just trying to find their own clout. Because the episode that I watched from the YouTube version, there was a lady who wants to be an actress and she moved, to Atlanta just to do that and things like that. But number 4 was the first person that came out was Johnny Bananas. Like, point me in the head, and if you're a longtime listener, you know how I feel about Bananas. Like, Bananas is from best known from the challenge. He's a 7-time winner, but Bananas himself is like an itch that you cannot scratch away. He's so annoying. He always wants to be the loudest in the room. He fancies himself the funniest in the room. That's why he was kicked out first on the Traders, and he wants to be on every single show. This man is not looking for love. He's a 42-year-old Peter Pan. And imagine his personality trying to crack all the jokes, Yvonne trying to crack all the jokes, them trying to all talk together. And it just became really chaotic. And it just wasn't a good first impression for a show.
And the funny thing is, like, I thought, like, okay, because I have too much context from watching the original show, like, am I being too judgmental, right? Like, trying to compare it to the the current show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm seeing people that have never watched Pop the Balloon before, and they watch this Netflix version, and they're like, "What the hell is this? Like, this is very chaotic, and this is just not good." Like, a lot of the commentary I'm seeing as well is not just from people who have always watched Let's Pop the Balloon, it's also from new watchers
Mm-hmm.
that are like, "What the hell is this?" But I would say, like, honestly, this is probably good for Arlette and BM because they are still dropping the YouTube version. They still
Mm-hmm.
drop like the videos on the shows on the YouTube version. And people are actually going back to watch the YouTube version. Like, they want to compare.
Yeah. I
Let's
think
see.
I think what they did was smart. I don't know if they thought it was going to do well or not. That's not their problem. As long as I think the smart thing they did was getting to keep their own version on YouTube, and they also get their coin by the executive producing, title.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think this needs to be tweaked. I just think it doesn't need to be live in no shape or form because I
Yeah,
don't
like,
know what the added like of all the shows that you're thinking of, why do you think this needs to be live? I don't have the answer to that question.
again, and that's what always gets me back to the original question. What is the point of this? If people are trying to find love, then why does it have to be a live show? Why is there a live audience? Why are we seeing the people sweeping the popped balloons away? What the hell is a love lounge? Who cares?
And popping on that. So,
The only thing that I would say that I actually do, I don't mind, is like just going backstage and hearing more from the men that came out on the lineup. Like, especially if you didn't get a match, to like just probe you a little bit further, ask more questions. Like, is there anyone else on the lineup that you really liked and stuff like that, just to hear a little bit of from them. However, with Arlette and BM's show, the reunion covers that because they have a reunion show as well after they do all the like
mhm,
episodes. So we still get to hear from some folks that come on their Pop the Balloon show.
yeah.
So honestly, I'll say maybe that's the only thing that they should keep. Like, if you don't get a match, like maybe just hear a little bit more from the contestants.
Mm.
That's what I'm gonna call them now. But
Mhm.
outside of that, everything else was bad. It was really, really bad. I don't even care that it's on Netflix and it's no longer going to be catering towards like black love or whatever. It's fine. Like, I don't care. But like, how it was executed was just horrible. It was bad. What makes Arlette's show good is how she's demure, how she's classy, how she's a facilitator, keeps things moving, and makes it all about like the contestants. And outside of the actual Pop the Balloon show, Arnett and BM also have like catch ups, right? Where they catch up with the people that matched. They have like some follow up sessions as well, where they like if there's like a lot of public brouhaha about someone that like or a
Mhm.
couple of people that showed up on a particular episode, they will do a catch up and a follow up with them. So they're actually listening to feedback from their watchers as well, and like just giving us more and more. Like it's just so engaging. And also it's regular people. Like, oh,
But I think it would be unfair to compare that level because we're just talking about a premiere compared to a show that has had many episodes. So I think we don't know where they're going with Netflix yet.
I'm
But
hoping they're listening to our feedback.
I know, but I'm just saying it's like it's just a premiere, so we can only just go by one episode. We don't know where it's headed yet. But the good thing is like our the YouTube version is still on there, for that. But I think where I just think having Johnny Bananas as the absolute first on the premiere is not a good thing. Um they kept the format. They had the girls out, they had the girls with the balloon and all that. He came out already trying to do too much, which Yvonne commented on it, and I think part of it, like you said, Arlette doesn't just lets the contestants be the star of the show, but Yvonne does this thing where we're watching it, but she's telling us what we're watching and giving us that commentary as if we're not watching it. So repeating the same thing, like Johnny, you're doing too much. Oh, Johnny, you came in the planner. Oh, Johnny, we just watched that. Like you don't need to tell us again that that is what he did. But Johnny just said a lot of things. By the time he came out, four women already popped their balloons. And knowing Johnny, I think that was his goal. Was like he just wanted all of them to pop their balloons. But a few things that he said so many wrong things. They have a dating show that you want people to take seriously. Some people are being introduced to it for the first time. And I think some Yvonne said something to that effect. And Johnny was like, oh, I came to the wrong place. How are we supposed to take you seriously that you're actually trying to find love when you just said you came to the wrong place for a dating show? Then he said to a girl, because they were introducing their name, their age, what they do, and she goes, oh, I work in bottle service. And Johnny Bananas is like, oh, you don't say. Some girl popped a balloon because that was very like condescending.
Mhm.
As far as I'm concerned, why would you say that to someone? Then some girl popped her balloon and I can't remember what it was in reference to, but then he says, "Oh, some girl said that her type is black men." It was a white girl that said her type is black men, and he said, "I'm black from the waist up."
Yeah.
This was just a few of the many things that he said that was just it's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not, it was irritating. He was irritating. The girls on the lineup honestly were irritating as well. But I would say that, can't believe I'm saying this, even on Arlette's version, sometimes the girls are actually more ridiculous than the men.
But that's expected because that's what you even expect from the reality shows or reality dating shows. There are going to be characters that are not. I think what I'm driving at is this is a lot of people's first impression or first watch. Why would you make that choice?
Yeah, that
Why
Netflix
would you make
really,
that
really,
choice? Um,
Netflix has to be blamed for that. It was just ridiculous. And the reason why I brought up the girls too is the one black girl that they were like asking her about, like, where Yvonne was asking her, tell me something that's not physical. And she's still like mentioning, saying, making references to how huge the waist down has to be. I'm just like, this is just so gross.
So in terms of that, it got to the point where it wasn't also enjoyable, where it felt like her especially, you could kind of tell that she was popping her balloon so she could speak and get airtime. That was my deduction from watching the episode because if you don't speak, I mean, there's nothing that's going to be said about that. But then when you pop your balloon, of course, they're going to go to you to be like, why did you pop your balloon? Was there anything? And she just wanted to have airtime and she started doing a lot so that she could make a commentary, but she wasn't actually listening. But if it wasn't a live show, we could edit some things out, which is funny. I didn't watch it live. So I'm watching it in an edited version, but there's only so much you can edit. But you can
Exactly.
clean up some things if it's not a live show. And like you
Yeah.
said, it's a dating show. Why does it need to be live? So that's the point. And then they got chased from Too Hot to Handle. Like, again, what is the impression? Like, if you're even going to get reality stars, get the ones that are favorable with the people or something that we could at least pretend are trying to be serious. Chase is known too hard to handle as a show where he's supposed to not have sex. And a lot of times they fail. And Chase is the bad boy, and he has that reputation for a bad boy. And you bring him in, he lives in Spain. You're shooting in like LA. Like, what is the plan here? Like, we can't even suspend all disbelief on that. So to me, it was just poor choices of how you were going to premiere your show and introduce the show. And then it got to the point where one of the girls knew him. So we're doing that thing where now there's a new industry where it's people who are professional reality show members, and they knew each other from
Exactly.
something. So, and then you let us know that they know each other, and it becomes, we can't suspend all disbelief. In everything you watch, you kind of have to, but there's just too many things going on that we can't even take it seriously. And I
We
just,
can't. Exactly. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe if they didn't model it against Arlette and BM's version of Pop the Balloon, like maybe if Netflix just decided to do a Pop the Balloon, then maybe uh, we wouldn't have anything to compare it to or whatever, and we can be less judgmental. But like, if you're saying, "Oh, we're making Arlette and BM the exec producers," obviously you're implying somewhere that there might be some sort of similarity to the original. Some sort. It doesn't have to be exactly equal to what the original looks like, but like there is some implication that it would be close enough. And like this was just that. Oh,
But the format is close enough. I think the issue is the casting.
so to me, the
Hmm.
format being close enough means it's close enough to any Pop the Balloon. Because honestly, a lot of the other Pop the Balloons are really trashy, and they're crazy, and it's chaotic. But Arlette's is different. So that's what I'm saying. Like if they just wanted to do their own Pop the Balloon, then it's fine. This mess is fine. But
Yeah.
if they're going to model it against Arlette and BMs, they are one of the more serious people. And that's why people actually watch their stuff. There's a lot of Pop the Balloons on YouTube, and
Okay.
they're all very chaotic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that they shouldn't have included the reality star part, and then maybe cast regular people. I know that's hard to get, but I think like as casting agents, they should be able to tell who's doing this for clout or who's not, because I think that regularness is part of the charm of the show.
And you know what was even more like disturbing? Like you said, the one girl that was popping because she could get airtime. I actually think they coached them to do all this drama and antics because the last guy that came out, the Indian guy, he felt serious for a little bit and then he got unserious. And I'm just like, I think they actually told these people to be menaces and just be nuisances and stuff because I feel like that's what the platform was given from jump. So I think they told them. So even if you're somebody that is like more calm and stuff, I think they were coached to, we're trying to get this out of you. Da, 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 you should come out because like, why did everyone come out like that? Like I'm giving them grace, right? So assume that maybe some people are actually normal and are trying to find love. And that Indian guy was giving those vibes because he was like nervous and Yvonne was telling him, it's okay, you don't have to be nervous, da 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 da
Hmm.
da da. But then it became like a clown show again, even with him, because I honestly think they were all coached to be crazy.
Yeah, we got no matches in that, and I think that's the other thing. If it wasn't live, we could put an episode where there is a match to at least start it out, because you go through all this, there's no payoff, nobody had a match. It was just not, it wasn't giving what it should be given. And by the time I watched this, again, this was no comparison. I hadn't watched the YouTube version when I watched the Netflix version. So this was like independent, all my thoughts of how it was. I think what they could benefit from it not being live, somebody said the girl from Istanbul, she said her age, said her thing, and Yvonne was like, "How old are you?" or something, or her name. Like, you forget what it is. And there was another one where Yvonne didn't know the names, like, "You over there, that over there." And I'm like, if it wasn't live, you could name it. Even on the first night of The Bachelor, the host has to know their names to call them out. And it's just better if you say, oh, Karen over there, Beth over there, instead of saying you over there, you over. Like,
I
why?
noticed
Like,
that too. The guy that wore the black guy that wore the gaudy
yeah,
t-shirt.
the Halloween pumpkin shirt. Yeah.
She had asked him, she told him to ask the girl a question, and then he asked the girl the question, and then she returned the question. And then Yvonne goes, all right, ask her a question. Like, why don't you ask her a question? And then the guy responded, oh, I just asked her a question, but I'll ask her another one. That's what,
Yeah.
like, she forgot that, like, he was
Yeah.
the one that originally asked the question. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
noticed that too.
if it was not live again, you could do another take and get that done. Because I understand live TV cannot be easy at all, and it just doesn't warrant it, being live. I will say something that is very funny on the YouTube version is just because they're so regular. The charm of it is like what they should have coached them, if anything, was to turn down people for ridiculous reasons. For like the one I watched, he turned down a girl because of her eyebrows. This is a man that has no teeth, but he still has the galls to be like, your eyebrows are too painted on and we can't go out and you waste my time when we're going out. And I'm guessing that is the theme usually. Like it's always something like ridiculous, right? Is that how it usually is?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, you find people like that pop on very unserious things. But again, because theirs is not live, BM is actually a very serious guy. He calls these people out. There's a time on one of the lineups, it was the men this time around that had their balloons, and women were coming out and the men were popping. And this guy popped on a girl, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting more of a friendship vibe. We could become friends." And then immediately you hear BM in the background. This is not pop the balloon and find friends. Like BM actually is very serious about this. He doesn't play. He barely laughs. Like whenever they do the catch ups, sometimes
Yeah.
it's usually him and Arlette. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't smile. He's just like a very serious guy.
Yeah.
So he takes this really, really seriously. So like just having all that context and seeing the shit show that this Netflix one was, it really bothered me. I have friends that we like watch Pop the Balloon. Like whenever there's a new episode or whatever, like we'll send it to each other, and like immediately like my friends are sending me like messages like, what the hell is this? Like I can't believe like this is what Netflix decided to do with this. And I think Netflix needs to read the room as well. People actually enjoy true love stories. I don't know why they just refuse to read the room. You look at all the Love is Blinds and even Love Island and all these shows. We always fall in love with the people who fall in love. Like we do. Like that's what like the public likes. Now, do we like drama and stuff like that? Yes. But like not drama that feels forced and scripted. Like that is just unnecessary in this day and age. Like we're all over that. We like a little bit of drama, but like people actually want love as well. And people want to like see regular people fall in love. It gives them hope.
Yeah. I think the thing is we don't know what their definition of success is, which is why a lot of the times when people are always talking, the production and the higher ups will still do what they want to do because we've been complaining about Love is Blind. Oh, last season was boring or whatever. All they see is like what it was the highest rated anything on Netflix. Either way, it's boring, but it's
It's
still there.
views.
We're
It's
talking
views. People are
about
watching.
Pop the Balloon is like this, that. But when I look on my social media, everyone is talking about it and it's
Yeah.
like, how trash is it? And people are going to check, is it really that trash? So either
Yes.
way, if that's their definition of success, I don't think they care about the love. If you want love, there's a million other options.
And that's why I said, with everything that we've said, I don't know that they're going to take feedback.
So we'll see. We'll see how long. I think the question for me is how long is this going to last? And then when is it going to not, be live? Because it just got really bad feedback that I don't know what they're going to switch up. Because I think it's 5 episodes total, is what I see on my Netflix. So we'll see what happens after 5 weeks. But
Honestly, if not for this review, I wouldn't watch it. And I've told everyone that I know, like, don't don't waste your time. Like, it was painful. It was a very painful watch, and just too chaotic for me, like very disorganized. Like even just the production of it just seemed very disorganized as well. It wasn't a good watch at all. Like this is one of the worst things I've watched this year.
Mhm. So, if anyone's out there that actually enjoyed it, would love to hear from you. But I think the general consensus so far is just the premise is fine. It's just the whole overall execution and production of it all did not hit the mark at all for us. All right. So let's move on to the Never Ever Met. Now, this is a show that's just one season. Not a lot of people watched the first season. I watched it. I was highly, highly entertained. And I told Wendy, you have to watch this show because, again, like all reality shows, it is ridiculous. So, a breakdown of what this show is about is that allegedly, these are people who have been talking or in a relationship long distance and have never ever met. So, hence the never ever met. In the first season, we had a couple that had been in a relationship for 8 years and had never met. I don't know what is so much or so long or what the issue is, why you haven't met these people. But anyways, they fly them all down, they put them in the house, they get to meet each other for the first time. The guys get to plan a date where they get to meet and then they have a date. They live in the house. There's a room called the boom boom room. Anytime you want to do the nasty, you go into the room. In the first season, there was a couple that just hugged the boom boom room the whole time and people were mad. Um, in comes the ridiculousness of it all. These people claim they're in a relationship. They've never met. In between that time, they're not seeing each other. A lot of things have happened. In the first season, there was a man who proposed to somebody else. And and the woman was giving him a lot of shit. There was a couple in the first season. They both lived in Los Angeles. It wasn't long distance. They both lived in Los Angeles, but they never met each other. So when he came back, this is also on OWN, guys. The first season used to air on Max where you could watch it without ads, but for some reason, season 2 is not that way. So you'd have to watch it on OWN. So the second season is just as ridiculous. We have not one, not two, but three surprise children. They have told each other that they have children. Some have not told their other couple, but why are you coming on this show? But this is the evolution of reality TV where I don't know where we're headed. Where, again, we used to be able to suspend belief, but now I don't know how we can do that when people are getting kind of ridiculous with this show. So, Wendy, what were your overall thoughts about the Never Ever Mets? What show would you put it on the same level as in your reality TV watch?
I mean, it's trashy,
Mhm.
honestly, but I was entertained. Honestly, I'll put it on the level of like things like the pop the balloons and stuff because it's like
Yeah.
regular people and then they're not trying to cast like super attractive people because there's some shows that it's regular people but they still try to cast people that are objectively attractive people. Like I
You
would say
mean Love is Blind?
yeah, I was gonna say that. I was going to say like Love is Blind is one of those shows where
Yeah.
yeah, it's regular people, but they still try to cast people that are objectively like attractive.
Yeah.
Love is Blind US since I don't watch the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
other
Mhm.
geos. Um, so for me, the Never Ever Met is regular people. So maybe on the line of Pop the Balloon, since we're talking about Pop the Balloon, very entertaining and just insane. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That was my thought when I was watching it. Like, are people okay? Like, I actually don't think they're okay, like up there. But then they always, me and you always say this, like people that choose to publicize this part of their lives, they just might not be like us. Don't let me say they're not okay. They just like you are a special type of person if you choose to go on these types of shows. Like I was just so confused as to first of all, like you've been dating for 4 years and you just have not met each other. Like why?
I will say though that this year is even better. Like I feel like a lot of people were in like a long term relationship in the first season. But this season, I think that there's a lot less. It's like 5 months. They have one couple that's 4 years. They have 8 months. It's in the months. the
So like
season.
I thought the months people were good. I was like, okay, 5 months, 4 months, things happen. Maybe you just not had the opportunity to meet. But the one couple, I don't know if it's one or two of them that are 4 years. I thought that was crazy. But like you saying there was an 8 year one on the first season, I'm like, okay, that
Yeah,
is
there was a
crazy.
lot more years in the first one. So this when I was seeing 5 minutes, I was like, oh, that's not bad. Like
Yeah.
I can understand that, but that's the difference between the first season and the second season. So
Yes.
as I continue on the premise, they keep talking and they have activities every day. It is hosted by Tyronda Jones, who most people might know as the assistant on Empire. At least that's where I know her from. She was Did you watch Empire?
I started and then I fell off.
Okay. Well, do you know her or are you familiar with her?
No,
Do you remember her?
no,
Okay.
no,
She
I don't.
she was the assistant on Empire and then now she's hosting, which is another thing cuz I know somebody made a comment like, isn't that a step down for Yvonne to host Pop the Balloon? And I'm like, no, that is the new thing. Actors are now hosting game shows. There's a whole, but Rob Lowe is a host. Jane Lynch is a host.
And
Everybody, actors are now hosting. So,
it's a Netflix bag, please. Like
so there was that. So yeah, so Toronto Jones, and then they have activities. They bring some experts that do that, and then we follow the antics that happen in the house. And something that I think that seems tiny, but I think it actually contributes to the show and is a great idea is every week a couple rotates to cook dinner for the entire house. You will be surprised the number of things that happen. In the first season, I want to say the first dinner or something, someone put hands on their girl and they had to go home.
because of the dinner.
It was a consequence of after the dinner, just hanging out after the dinner and talking about it's just a consequence. Like they're cooking, but just like you see in the second episode of this, where someone's cooking, someone has an allergy, that just trickles over to a lot of things. It's
Yeah,
not directly because of the dinner, but it's indirectly just cooking dinner always
yeah,
leads to something. When they're
yeah.
sitting at the dinner table, it always leads to something. And I just think that was a stroke of genius of whoever came up with that because who knew?
Again, they're modeling real life. It's kind of like sometimes if you take a group trip with your friends and like there's all these personalities. Like
Yeah.
maybe you guys don't fight while you're local and hanging out, but like there's always something about traveling with a group of people and trying to get people to do different activities and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That always leads to some sort of drama.
Yeah.
So they're modeling real life, I guess.
Yeah. So I thought I would go through just a few of the, not a few, but all of the couples that were on here. So we have Charlie and Jared. Charlie's 34 and lives in Dallas, and Jared is 32 and lives in South Carolina. And they've been dating for 4.5 years. They went to the same high school. They haven't met because their schedules have not aligned. And she has a fear because she hasn't been honest with him. And she said she knows that he's talking to other women. So at some point, and then she got so mad about it that she was like, F that, and went and had sex with a guy. And then she got pregnant. And the beginning, before they start like the show proper, before they move into the house, we just see them on the webcam just talking. So when she got up and showed her 8 months pregnant self, I gasped.
I actually screamed. I screamed by myself in my room watching this. I said, "What the f?" That was what I said.
I just thought she was going in pregnant because I was like, wait, aren't you 8 months? Can you even fly? How are you going to meet a guy with a baby bump? Isn't that too much? So when they actually met and they were going on their first date, which was good, was a pottery, and even when she met the women, I'm like, wait, is no one suspecting? And I was like, wait, why is her stomach smaller? I didn't realize she had given birth by the time she moved into the house because I was still so confused because I was like, okay, she doesn't look as pregnant as she did.
But that's
So
more horrifying.
So the whole time I kept thinking, okay, so you just had a baby. Who's watching your
That
baby
is just insane.
at 1 month because you want to film a TV show? Why did they still? I shouldn't ask why did they still cast her. Of course, the story writes itself there for her, but it just seems irresponsible to cast someone who has to leave her baby,
A
who's
1 month
1 month
old.
old, who still needs that. Like to me, better fly down that baby and give her a nanny and have them in a
I'm,
house
I'm gonna
next
hope
door.
that the baby is actually there and like we're just not seeing the baby.
Yeah. So, I mean, they meet, they do all the things, and then we find out that, she's been pumping this whole time and not telling him. She just goes to another room, and that's easy to do because you could be like, oh, you're going to do your confessional or something. I don't know. But she goes to go pump. Then she decides she wants to tell him. This man was sleeping, having a dreamless sleep, dreamless nap, and she wakes him up on camera. And you know that look when someone wakes you up and you're like, huh? Who? What? She's like, we need to talk. Let's go outside. And then she goes, I know that, I have something I need to tell you. You know that I have one child that's, 12 years old, but I have something to tell you. I just had a baby. And then I have a 1 month old baby. And he's looking at her like, huh, interesting. And then she's like, but I have more. But wait, there's more. And then she goes, now I have two children, but I also have I think it was like a 11-year-old or something-year-old, and I have four children in total. I didn't even want to even imagine how he was processing. But then he became his and was like,
Wait, can we, before you announce his secret,
yeah,
did she hide 4 kids through
if,
the 4 years that they were speaking,
if
dating?
maybe they speak when they're at their dad's, when they're at school, when they're in bed, and she could be like, I'm at work or something. I mean,
I
same
mean,
way.
I guess I'm projecting because that would never be enough for me. Like, I will be I should be able to like just FaceTime the person I'm talking to long distance, and you pick up at any point. Like even if it's just for 2 seconds to say, "Hey, I'm busy. Like, let me call you back." Like things like that will like raise a red flag for me. She even said while she was pregnant, like when she was giving birth, she had to tell him she had a hernia, and that's the reason why she was in the hospital. Did you hear
Yeah.
that part?
Yeah, she said, and I think he even said that he kind of suspected because he didn't talk to her for like a few days or something like that. But I think also the other thing, a lot of them also say, oh, you've been talking to someone and you've only seen them neck up. And I'm like, if you're talking to someone and you're having like I don't even think it's like, I know some will consider that weird, but I don't even think it's so weird. Like if you're talking for that long of a time and you haven't seen or 2 months or 3 months or whatever, but you're talking to someone and you've never seen them fully because
Yeah.
you haven't seen a picture or video, and even if it's on video, what kind of bond are you forming when you've only seen them from the neck up?
That
That
is
is strange.
crazy. Yeah, like
You
I've
know?
talked to people that are not in the same space as me, and like I just like I put the my phone down or my computer and I walk to go get something. Like like a normal person. Like whenever I'm on the phone, I'm moving around and doing things. So like if I'm on Facetime too, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Like, oh, give me a second, let me go get the door. Oh, I need to go get my package. Something like
Yeah.
like like you're not hiding anything. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But it probably because he was keeping his secrets too. That's probably why he didn't also have time to really like process. So go ahead and tell his secret.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I mean, I also have a secret that I want to tell you that I think she knew that he had a kid, and he was like, I have a newborn kid. She's like, when? He's like, I have a 6 months, 6 months ago, I had a kid. Here's the thing. Yeah, the kid is 6 months, but the thing is, for the kid to be 6 months, the mother had to be pregnant for 9 months, technically 10. So we're looking at a year and a half, and they've been allegedly talking for 4.5. Why are people so tied to this where just be with the person you slept with, I guess? Like, why is this complicated? It's just a bizarro situation that I think should not be explored. And the only answer to this is they just want to be on TV.
Yeah, because they're all both of them are there giggling and like she even almost had the nerve almost to be like upset. Like, oh, so you have a newborn, like a 6 month old, and then she in her confessional, she's like, "Well, I can't get too mad because I just had a 1 month old," and I'm just like, what is happening here? And like, am I crazy or are these people crazy? Like, this is just insane.
Yeah. I mean, I think he had the right approach where he was just like, how are we going to fit 6 children and raise 6 children? Like, it's not just in there. Like, that's a lot. We need to know what to do. And then I think that's where she started getting upset. Whereas, like,
Hmm.
don't you want to? And then he was just like, okay, we could try and see if this is. And she was like, just stop right there. Trying is
Mhm.
enough for me. Let's just see what happens. Let's just go. And I'm like, are you guys insane? I'm a cutoff type of person. Cutoff in that when there's a situation like this, I don't want to go in deeper and figure it out later and find out. To me, this seems like this is an impossible situation because when you have 6 children, and let's say it works, you have to find a house that fits a family of 8 because you're going from, I'm guessing, like he has 2 children. I'm guessing he doesn't have custody of the children. So you're going from maybe a 1 bedroom apartment or 2 bedroom apartment at the very least, where now you have to cater to a whole family of 8. That's a huge adjustment. And then you're still learning each other, knowing each other. And I just don't understand. There's no way they're going to last, but 4.5 years and your children don't know this person that you are dating. When people with children date people, in my mind, I'm thinking your child is the most important thing. You should want to make sure that they get along with whoever it is that you're dating.
That lady is unserious. I mean, she's here after having a 1 month old. She's not serious. And then, like, the guy is not serious. They're both unserious. So I mean, even the house, the people that are living in the house with called it like, oh, I guess they're perfect for each other since.
Yeah. So when they decided to work it out, I'm like, okay, good for you. But I think what was also funny was when they had the dinner, they decided that they were going to announce it to the rest of the house. That was funny to me. I don't know about you. He wanted to keep it private, and she's like, "Oh, we need to tell them." I don't know why they needed to tell them, but
Cause she's pumping and stuff like that. Like
oh
maybe she
yeah,
wants to
yeah,
be able
yeah,
to pump in front of the ladies and stuff. Like,
yeah. Okay,
yeah,
that's true, and not have to
yes,
hide and all that stuff.
yeah.
So he was nervous. He gets up. He announces it. Everyone was like, "Oh!" When she said hers, then he said his. Then they're like, "Well, oh, congratulations to you too!" And then they start clapping, and then start going. Then when they have pillow talk and they're all separated, they're like, it could not be me. I'm
Could it
not
be
going
me?
to do that. Like, what are they doing? And like you said, they're perfect for each other. One of the ones who said, no, I can never do this, has a conversation with her boo. And he's like, what would you do if I had that? He's like, no, she asked. And he's like, oh, we'll figure it out. I don't know. And I'm like, meanwhile, this man has a whole ass baby and he hasn't told her yet. And I'm like,
Yeah,
all right, guys, how can we have 3 people in the house who have secret babies? Why must you be in a long distance relationship? Like, if
no
you haven't
idea.
seen each other how long, like, long distance relationships is so expensive, first of all. If you guys haven't, like, seen each other, if you guys don't know each other, and you feel like you can keep this from someone you allegedly maybe they don't love each other yet, but care for, that is not a good place to start from at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, that was basically Charlie and Jared. All right. Did you have any other thoughts on them?
I thought she was white. I don't know if you noticed on during the painting when they had the painting thing, he Jared let us know that she's black.
Yeah, she's biracial, but I mean, I kind of figured because this show is only they don't. It's always only is an African
Oh
American
yeah,
cast.
yeah. Since
So
I didn't have any context, she looked just like white to me too. I didn't know that she had
yeah,
black. Yeah.
yeah. They had a painting session, and then he painted a zebra and mentioned that she was biracial. Um, Okay, so then we have Alicia and Irvin. Alicia is 36, lives in Pennsylvania. Irving is 44, lives in Boston, and they've been together for 5 months. Alicia says that she is tired of being a girlfriend and she wants to be a wife. And Irving is Haitian. And I'm only saying this because in the first season we had a Haitian too. So I don't know. There's an affinity for Haitians on this show, on here. And Alicia is very pretty, but Alicia to me is very intense and kind of wound up.
Yes.
I think because the first date that he's had was a compa, which is a Haitian traditional genre of music, and they have to be close together. And she was already wary about that. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be comfortable, I just didn't understand why, if this is someone that you care for, you've been talking to, it's not like he's saying, "Oh, sleep with me," or "Be with me." It's just a dance, and you're uncomfortable with that. I just feel like, shouldn't you have had a conversation about that?
So honestly, like in the beginning, I thought to myself, like I would probably be like an Alicia if I met someone in person, just like but I would be more weird, more so than wound up. Like I'll just be like a weirdo
Yeah.
and like stiff, but like I would mention it, like I would talk about it in a light-hearted manner. Like I wouldn't be wound up, right? I would be
Yeah.
like stiff and awkward, but not wound up.
Like,
So I could relate a little bit like when I watched the first episode and like just that first date, I could relate like, oh, maybe she's just uncomfortable because she's just like, oh my God, like probably overthinking in her head or whatever. And she probably just needs time to relax. But like as you continue to watch and then watching the second episode as well, I'm just like, okay, she's just tightly wound up and probably just doesn't like him. That's what the conclusion I came to.
I don't know, it just wasn't fun to watch them. I just think they're incompatible also, and he doesn't have
Yeah.
the temperament for her
Yeah.
because, I can understand being nervous. Like, you haven't met someone, being in close proximity, which is why, like, they were in public and they were dancing. I would think that would even help, which she did eventually, relax, but just
Yeah.
everything leading up to that. So eventually she does mention that she had like was it an autoimmune disease, or
Yes.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, she has an autoimmune disease. So she had like a eat, pray, love kind of trip. She lost a lot of weight. She's careful about all the things she puts in her body. She doesn't drink, and all that stuff. But I think they had a scene where he was just laying with her on the bed and she's just like, "I'm not comfortable." I don't know if he asked, because I didn't hear him ask to sleep with her in the same bed, because they don't sleep in the same bed, guys. So it's separated. They have twin beds. I guess you can if you wanted to, but it's so tiny. And she was just like, "No, I'm not ready for that. I'm uncomfortable." And she just doesn't seem comfortable around him, which, if you've been having conversations with someone for however long, how long was theirs? It was 5 months. I
Yeah.
would think there would be some level. I'm not saying to be fully, comfortable, but that was a little, there was that. Then they had the couple that was cooking dinner, and then she came in and asked them, like, are they using vegan butter? Are they using that? Can they do that separate? And the couple that was cooking dinner, I think he overreacted. You don't have to be rude about it, because his wife was trying to be accommodating. Was like, "Listen, when it's your turn, you cook whatever you want to cook. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. You're creating double work for all of us." And that's where I think production should kind of have stepped in. If someone has dietary restrictions, kind of make accommodations for that,
Yeah.
because these people are cooking for everybody and they're not like equipped, and they could say yes and then they could do something. And I don't think hers is an allergy. She's just particular, but no, she was allergic to something.
I don't remember it being an
Yeah.
allergy, but like what you're
Yeah.
saying is I have dietary restrictions. I have dietary restrictions. Whether I'm allergic, whether I'm not,
Yeah.
whatever, I have restrictions. You're right.
Yeah.
Production could have stepped in. Like not everything is good drama. There's drama
Yeah.
that's entertaining, and then there's drama that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. They should have just got her own meal. It's okay to order and then just keep it up, because this is something she takes seriously. She's doing it for her health. She's doing that. In that case, I don't think she was being intense. She was doing it for her health. But
Exactly.
there's also the other flip side where she's like, "I'll just make my own food." I think she should have offered that. Also, if they're so gung ho about, all of that stuff. But that didn't happen. So she goes and she tells her man, and her man is allegedly comforting her. But in the confessionals, is like, knowing what I know of her, I'm sure she was the aggressor in the whole situation, because it's just her energy. She just comes up that way. And I just knew, like, she didn't handle it well. So there was that. Then there was a situation where I think Irvin had asked her to do yoga with her, and she said she wasn't ready to. Again, she just says no to everything. "We can't dance together. Don't sleep in the bed with me. Don't do this. I'm just not ready for this." And then he
Doesn't
walks
like
in
him. She
and
doesn't like him.
and sees that she's doing yoga with someone else. And he got so mad about that and was like, "I feel some type of way. Like, it's something that I thought we could do. You said you weren't ready to do it with me, but you're doing it with somebody else." Do you think he was valid?
Yeah, I think his feelings are valid. Now the delivery is always the issue. Your feeling his feelings are valid, but how he delivered the message to her, like he seemed very, very angry
Yeah.
in his
He's
delivery.
Yeah, the way that he was expressing what it
Yeah,
was. So yeah, I do agree that his feelings were valid. Like, my feelings would be hurt. Like if I, told someone I was dating, "Oh, I don't want to do that." And then I walk in and you doing it with somebody else. Like,
exactly.
what does that mean or what are you trying to say to me? So he goes over to have a conversation with her, and she's a healed woman. So she uses certain words. And the minute he starts talking, because like Wendy said, his tone is just, I don't know if he means to sound that way, but his tone is just a little bit jarring and just a little like, okay, relax, like, let hear her out. He's like, can you stop interrupting me, please? And then she says, I don't feel safe. I'm feeling a little unsafe with the way that you're talking to me. And he's like, all right, I'm out. I
Yeah.
think he did the right thing. If someone
Yep.
tells you they're not feeling safe, just so it doesn't, there's no misunderstanding or
Yep.
escalation, just walk out and just leave because this is just second episode. We don't know what his temper is like or anything. Like I said, the first episode, we had some man just standing over this woman and being aggressive to the point where they had to remove them from the house. So he did the right thing and walked away, but then she kind of got upset and was calling him back. Like, so first, another thing, conflict resolution does not exist with this couple. They again are just incompatible. They don't
Yeah.
their
And
styles and
it's
a lot of
fine.
things don't agree.
And it's fine because it's like 5 months. And I think she's actually still hasn't figured out who she is outside of the autoimmune disorder. So, like, right now, that is her personality. And that is fine that she's still figuring herself out. Like, in her mind, she has gone through the healing journey because that's what she said. But
Mhm.
how she's presenting actually doesn't feel like she's healed because the autoimmune disorder is her personality trait and she hasn't figured out a way to the fact that she wasn't ready to talk about it with the rest of the group shows that she still has some feelings
Yeah.
around, yes, and reservations around the disease and what it means to her and how it defines her and such. And I think that she probably shouldn't be dating.
But here's my thing when people do that, because what Wendy's referring to is in one of the activities, he drew something and he was about to explain what it means and would have required him mentioning that she had like this disease and she shushed him and she said she's not ready to talk about it yet. When you say you don't want to talk about things, but you're filming a TV show where you're going to have to talk about it, you're going to do exercises where you have to reveal yourself. You don't want the group to know, but we're all going to know. Maybe you don't know us, yes, but part of coming on these shows, in any dating or relationship shows, it requires you being vulnerable. We hate that word and they say it all the time, but you're going to have to be vulnerable and let those walls down. Her walls are not let down at all. You're probably right that she's probably not ready, because if you felt safe, you would want to talk about it. And inevitably, yes, you should go at it at her own pace, but it's just
She
a
shouldn't
win.
be on TV. She
Yeah.
should not. I don't know what she's doing here. She shouldn't be on TV. She still has issues around how this disease defines her and who she is. And she needs to figure that out. Like something that is jarring for me and something that I don't necessarily appreciate is when people beat it over your head that they've been through a journey with their therapist and their psychologist and this and that, and then that is who their personality trait has become that, and then they're using all these therapy speak and weaponizing these therapy speak against you. I don't like it. So like what she did in that moment where she said, I don't feel safe, I feel like she could have communicated those feelings in another way as opposed to using the phrase I don't feel safe. It just feels so much like therapy speak and like someone that is still healing.
And also, I want to add that when he was trying to express his concerns or what hurt his feelings, another example of why they're incompatible. Yes, he was being abrasive and his energy was being angry, but instead of listening to his side also, like, because when you're in a relationship, you listen to both partners and how can we work on this? She's like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, are you sure it's not your insecurity? And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, and I think he said that pissed him off too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like, why are you just gonna mention that? I think they are incompatible. I think he's a little much as well. Like, he doesn't know how to handle. a
Yeah, he doesn't have the
personality.
temperament for her, yeah.
Yeah, like hers, because I don't know, he felt really abrasive to me just
Yeah.
watching, but yeah, he felt like extra abrasive. But even her herself, she's still going through her healing journey, and she probably shouldn't be on TV, and they shouldn't be together. Period.
Mhm. All right, we'll move on to Tatiana and Clavassier. Tatiana is 31 and lives in California, and Clavassier is 28 and lives in Georgia. And they've been talking for 8 months. My first impression was just like Tatiana is so busy because she's a mom, she's in school, she's just very busy. Clavassier does seem like he's very into her. They are getting along, and all that is well and good. The only problem is just that he's the one that also has a newborn and hasn't told her yet. So
And before he told her, I thought they were doing so well.
yeah, that's they were like I don't have much notes on them because there was no issues.
Yeah,
So he saw her, he was very attracted to her, she was attracted to him. They were going all well, and it's just unfortunate because he's like, what would you do if I had that kind of secret? And you're just setting her up. So okay, so we have Alexis, who is 47, who is going to, I think, be the villain of the season. She's from PA, and Christopher, who's 35, who's in Dallas.
um,
And
can I share something about Christopher?
okay, one second. They've been talking for a year
Hmm.
for that. Okay, go ahead.
So immediately I saw him, I was like, this accent is very distinct. I've seen this man on another show before. I was like, I know I've seen him somewhere. I don't know where. So I go on Reddit to see if anyone has mentioned anything. And someone mentioned seeing him on Ready to Love. So I go back and I like put his name in Google and Ready to Love. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he was in the Ready to Love like Dallas season,
Mhm.
season 8. And there was another Chris on that season as well, the Nigerian Chris.
Mhm.
So that season,
Mhm.
this Chris was on that season.
That's so funny because the Nigerian Chris, my husband and I just saw him on a TV show. He was like a guest actor. So again,
Oh, okay.
everyone's just trying to be in the business. So
Yeah. And then this Chris,
Mhm.
he actually like he's an actor too.
I mean, at this point, like I said, the evolution of reality TV, we just kind of have to get used to it. It just depends on how much you're in the know. Because one thing I forget, there are people who watch these shows and don't do deep dives on the internet. They just
Yeah.
watch it, take it as face value, and they're better for it as far as I'm concerned. So, she says that Christopher looks good and he's young at heart, and she's so forward, and she saw him on there, and she asked him for a dick pic. So we are off to a great start, people. He has cheated on her, and she's just like, yeah, he did that. And what bothered her was that the person that he cheated on her with, they're complete opposites. But she wasn't worried because she knew he was going to come back. And then he did come back. So coming back is enough for her. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have good vibes for these people. And when they met for their first date, she's like, don't you owe me something? And he's like, what? And he's like, a public apology. He said that, and that was it. And she folded easily. And the thing is, when she said, am I your type? He said, I don't really have a type. I'm an energy person. I think that's a no. Because if someone's your type, you immediately say, absolutely. Right?
Yeah. In
So
my opinion, yes.
yeah, so that was funny. When they did the activity, it was body painting, and part of what they were supposed to do is to ask for permission anytime you want to do anything. Alexis does not listen to anybody. She put her hands everywhere. She went on her knees. She put her hands under his shorts and kept going. He did not like that and was like, you are not asking for permission. And when it was his turn, he did something passive aggressive and drew a stop sign on her back.
Should have drawn it on her front so that she can see the stuff.
He was scared. He was scared. So they had a conversation about it. He thought they had moved forward, and he was trying to explain how, we've had something like this in the past, and they show a flashback of how she said she was walking with an ex, and he was looking at Booty walking by, and she put her fist. So when he turned back around, his jaw slammed into her fist, and he's like, that's a red flag. And it should be a red flag. And they were talking about it, and I think her only concern was like, No, he said, "How did we have a bad day when you said that you were turned on when I was, body painting on you?" And she's like, "You body painted on me, your hands on me, it felt good. Did you feel anything when I did that?" And he was like, "Not at that point because I was just annoyed." He was like, "Well, that means there's something wrong with you too." It was just a hot mess between these two. So again, I don't see these two lasting. But what I didn't like, and this is why when you get all these therapists, the whole thing was ask for permission. When they questioned each of them and they said, "You didn't ask for permission," they're like, "No." They're like, "Oh, are you used to getting what you want?" "Yes." And then that's the end of it. No consequences, no showing them, like, "Hey, this could mean XYZ." So
Yeah.
that was that.
You always ask me about attractive people. Chris is attractive.
Wow. Wow. Look at you. He is. He is cute. I'll
Yeah,
give him
he has
that.
a beautiful smile. He's super attractive.
Yeah. He looks tall.
Yes,
So,
that's
okay. Then we have Kiki, who is 29 from Georgia. And then we have Brandon, who is 30 from Alabama. They've been talking for 4 years and they haven't met because she said because of her nerves. She is a bigger girl and she's insecure about it. And, I appreciated her honesty, but 4 years is a long time. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to meet each other. And then I just felt like if you're insecure about this, isn't it worse to meet him for the first time on camera?
mm-hmm.
Because what if and what not? I want to say like in the first season, we did have a lady that was a bigger girl and her partner, he's into BBWs. So he was okay. He's the one who proposed to someone in between. He was engaged to somebody else and he did not get along with her sister. He cursed out her sister live on not live, but like on the episode. He was yelling and it was not good. And they were the problem children. They were the oldest, but they were the problem children of the season. Nobody liked them. So that was there was that. So Kiki is, you can tell, like, she's very shy and introverted. She also wears braces on here and she comes off as like just childlike. And she told him, "I don't want anything romantic, like save the romance for a first date." And one of the girls was like, "Why? Like, you've been talking this whole time. Bring the romance, enjoy the romance." So I think Kiki is dealing with her own issues. She is a model, so his first date idea was he brought her lingerie and he was going to take pictures of her. At first I thought like, okay, that's a little too forward, but I actually thought it was cute. And I just thought it was an easy way to just break the ice. Like, she's already a model and it's not like the lingerie was like trashy and all that. It was still like a little covered up. And I think he takes pictures and just connecting on that. I thought it was cute, but you
No,
disagree? No. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't think that's a good date.
Okay. I just think it's something different. I mean, all the
Like,
dates have
you might as
reviews.
well take me to work. I want to work on my first date.
That's a good point. But you don't have to
Yeah.
deliver anything. You could just be free and be yourself for that.
We could talk and get to know each other. Like, I feel like first meetings should always be just something light. I don't
Okay.
want to feel like I'm doing something.
Something.
Yeah, I just want to talk.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
They have this weird mishap, which is like something where he's pouring the wine and she's like, "Oh, you didn't top it up enough, top it up some more." And he's being all weird about it, like, "Oh, are you a drinker? I'm gonna let it slide." And I'm like, did I miss something? Why is
Really?
he particular about this?
I thought that was weird too, but I'm like, we're probably missing some context here.
Yeah, I think they did because in the previews, I think we're going to see next week that the drinking comes up again. But Kiki does mention that she has a secret. I'm like, oh my God, not a baby. Although I think her secret is she's a virgin.
No, I thought I saw it in one of the future episodes. Like they actually did show it at the beginning. I don't know whether that's a secret, but like there was a part where she was saying something around she still lives with her ex. Like it was actually on the thing
Oh,
in the package.
oh, okay. I missed that. Okay, if that's the secret. The only reason I thought that was during the activity, she kept talking about it's so hard for me to be intimate and I don't like this, activity. But eventually she liked it, but before it, she was just very nervous about that and all that. And she just seems so shy. So
Yeah,
that's what I thought it was. Oh, but she
yeah.
lives with
And
her ex. Okay.
that was what was in the package. She didn't say, "Oh, that's my big secret." But you know how they can piece these things together too. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just her saying she lives with her ex.
Okay. Then we had Brittany and Ty. Brittany is 40 and in Houston, and Ty is 38 and lives in LA. And they've just been talking for 3 months. So to me, that's an appropriate, we can, kind of time
Yeah.
to be talking and not have seen each other. She has a son and she's looking for an alpha male. And I think they're going well. I don't have anything major to report on them. They were the ones who were cooking dinner. So Ty was the one who was rude um about
Ty,
the dietary restrictions to
restrictions.
Alicia. Yeah.
Ty seems like a lot to me. Like I thought
Yeah.
she wouldn't like him. Like on the first date where he was already cracking jokes and just doing too much. And
Yeah.
maybe like I don't know. He seemed like a lot, but she likes this, so cool.
I mean, I think it'll unfold at some point. He seems like the kind like just gets emotional for no reason and just gets ticked off, but we'll
Yeah,
see how
yeah,
it goes. And then our final couple is Cinco. Cinco is 30 from Georgia, and Jay, who is also 30 in Chicago. And they've been talking for 5 months. For some reason, they wanted to switch things up, but I thought it was weird. When all the girls came, Cinco was the only guy. But the reason why was because Jay was like, I wanted to plan our date. Jay is very type A.
yeah.
She just wants to take control of everything. She wanted to have like a basketball one-on-one game, and he seems serious. He's like, I just want to have a kid. We're already exclusive. I don't know what the difference is between being exclusive and having a boyfriend and a girl and being boyfriend and girlfriend. But
I don't know either.
they say this a lot, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what the difference is. He is 6'7", and she really likes that. And
I don't know how tall she is because like they don't look that different in height.
that's true.
I remember she said she had to sleep on the bed with him because like it's just
Yeah,
more
it's
comfortable
more
because he
comfortable. She's
has a
sleeping in the men's room,
yeah, he has a
and
king size bed.
yeah, it's more comfortable. And the to give an example of how type A J is, they just go into the shower on day one and they have sex. She's like, men have needs, women have needs too. Might as well just get it over now and find out if there's chemistry. Let's not waste our time. I respect it. Truly
Me
do.
too. Love
Truly,
it.
truly do.
Yeah.
So that's a
For
woman
you,
that knows
Jay.
what she wants, and there is nothing sexier than someone matching your energy because Cinco don't care. Cinco just is smitten by her, thinks
Yeah.
like she's great. He don't have eyes for anybody. But then that happened to the couple that we had in the first season, and then after the whole thing happened, we find out that some girl that actually left accused him of messaging her while they were there. They're not together anymore, and they were the ones who hadn't seen each other in 8 years. And they were the lovey-dovey couple of the season. So I hope Cinco is for real because, like you said, Wendy, we want love. Like we get it. Everyone wants clout, but come on. Well,
Yeah.
those of us that are gonna kind of make your clout happen by giving you viewership, give us something. You can have love and clout. That's the
Exactly.
thing.
That's the best combination. The best like TV shows or the best seasons of any of these dating TV shows has always been the ones that have had a good balance of love and drama. Like Brett and Tiffany's season of Love is Blind, Chef's Kiss. Like
They're still
it
the
just had the right amount of drama.
yeah, they're still also the ones that have the highest. It was three couples that are still together
Yes.
right
That
now. So
that episode is goated. Like what? Oh,
yeah.
like also like thinking about how I think that's like season 5, right?
Oh, I never know the numbers. I know the cities, but I don't know the numbers.
Yeah.
It
So
was
like
Seattle.
so you would imagine like there'll be like maybe more people that are chasing cloud after the first season, right? After the first season
Hmm.
of any show, like just expect to have more cloud chasers. So I
Hmm.
think like if Brett and Tiffany's season was like season 5 and they like got that amount of people, love and drama, chef's kiss. Like, yeah, give us love and drama. We'll take it.
Well, did you have any other thoughts from the show or anything that stood out to you from the Never Ever Mets?
No, I thought it was just very, very trashy but entertaining, and I will keep watching this
You're
show.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, guys, that's the episode today. I know it's not the usual, but hopefully you found something else to add to it. And if you do, to add to your reality show lineup, if you do watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of it. Always welcome to comments on there. Wendy, thank you for joining me once again. Hope to have you on again at some point. More shows. Hopefully, all the streamers start competing and they give us more trash, you know, to watch. You
Yes.
guys, you know where to find me. Also call MAFSALTARCALLMAFS on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on Twitter, and now you can find me on Threads as well. Any of those formats. And if you want to send me an email, a DM, just at Gmail, and I will respond to you. And also, please give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Truly helps the podcast. And if you want to support the show, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, please join the Patreon, patreon.com/AltoCallMAFS. Until the next episode, guys, thank you for tuning in. Bye.